Welcome to Gee Whiz. This is our review of our April units that are coming up. First and foremost, we hope all of you are safe out there. We know it's a trying time for everyone, but hopefully if you're using Gee Whiz, that will at least give your little ones something to do and keep your life somewhat on track. I am signed in right now. If you are not a customer, you would sign in, or if you are a customer and haven't signed in, you would sign in here with your email and your password. There's an option if you've forgotten your password to reset it. Please use it here instead of the link in the email because we've been having some troubles with links in emails. Um, and then you go to the GWE tab. I'm going to scroll over to this month's units. And our first unit for April is Fun on the Farm. This is going to be a great unit to do. It involves a lot of animals. We're going to talk about plants. We're going to talk about crops and tractors and all kinds of fun things. So one of the main things you're going to want to have on hand for this unit is obviously going to be farm animals. If you can get them in the plastic or rubber format that are safe for little ones to handle and not too small to be a choking hazard, that's awesome. I know there are wooden options out there. There are also plush animals that you could gather, and you might want to let parents and guardians know that you'll be needing those items so that you can add them to this unit. I'm going to go into the English files because I do not speak Spanish and just give you an overview of everything that's included in this unit. Probably the most important component, obviously, is the teacher's guide. I'm going to go in there just briefly. So if you're a new customer, you know what you're looking for. If you're an existing customer, just to give you an overview of what we're going to be doing. On this first page, we have our table of contents, and we encourage you to take a look at our materials list, which I'll show you in just a second, that has everything that you're going to need for each day. Um, Here are those program symbols. So if you're new to Gee Whiz and you haven't watched our Introduction to Gee Whiz webinar, I would encourage you to do that. You can find that under the Support tab, under Training and Webinars. It goes over exactly how to utilize the curriculum and how it's all put together and what these program symbols all mean. But basically, we use these symbols so that when you do activities with the children from the lessons, you will know exactly what developmental areas you are addressing. We also have this symbol for something that's a get moving, gross motor, outside, which right now is super important, and character education. Here's our overview for the 2 weeks that this unit covers, the 10 days. Some of our providers will print this one page and post it so that parents or guardians know what's coming up. The school age experiences are listed down here, and right now with school out in so many parts of our country, these school age activities will come in extremely handy for a lot of you, I'm sure. And then each day is set up the same way. So I'm just going to review for those of you who are customers and those of you who may be new. Up here's a cumulative list of all of the developmental areas you'll address today. Here's our health and safety tip, our teaching tip, and our transition idea. These are words you want to use in conversation with children. These are other ways you can model language and develop language. And then this is our exploring together experience. This is our whole group experience. And over here are questions that you will want to ask during that experience. These are open-ended questions, a lot of them, that encourage children to think. We know that a lot of you are evaluated using either class or Fickers, and asking open-ended questions that engage children in conversation is an excellent way to help you score higher on a lot of the areas on those assessments. Same thing with modeling language. So every day you have your exploring together, which is this one, and then you also have 2 small group experiences, and you have down here at the bottom an infant experience. You'll notice that some of these have levels, and these are developmental levels. So think about what each child is or where they are developmentally, not necessarily by age, because we know that, for instance, 2 toddlers can be very different. One can be more advanced, one can still be working on a lot of skills. So what I encourage you to do is read the experience and then read both of the options, and then for each individual child, choose the option you think will work best. So we go through 10 days like this in this teaching guide, and then we get on to our school age experiences. So I'm going to just scroll really quickly down through here, and sorry if I make anybody dizzy. And I want to grab my bar and pull this down here so I can show you the school age experiences. There are 6 school age experiences, but each experience is designed to be done for more than one day. So for instance, if I were a farmer, they're going to create their own stories about what they would do if they were a farmer. So they're going to be writing, they're going to be editing, they're going to be going through the writing process, and then they're going to illustrate, and then they can share those stories with younger children. So that's going to take more than one day to do that. Working horses, this is actually where they get to pretend to be horses while they use wagons to take your little ones for rides, which that's a lot of fun too. So there's 6 of these types of experiences that you can do. And again, each one is for more than one day. And then beyond that, we also have, and I'll come back to the story props when we show them to you in a second, and also these. Experiences for advanced preschoolers. These could be used for your school-age children as well. So if you have school-age children now with you who are there all day long and you're looking for things for them to do, take a look at this page because a lot of these experiences could be done with those children as well. We then have a chart that shows specifically for each activity which specific learning indicators, and that's these codes right here, they address. If you want to know, for instance, what LD2 stands for, you'll want to look in our user's guide. I know that a lot of libraries are currently closed, and you may not be able to go get books, but luckily Farm is a unit that a lot of people already have some books, and you might want to ask parents, guardians, neighbors, friends if they have books that you could borrow. Additionally, check out YouTube. For instance, like you might be able to just go to YouTube and put in Barnyard Dance by Sandra Boynton. A lot of times people will do read alouds on YouTube where they share the book and they read it aloud. So that's another option during this time when maybe you can't go to the library, where you can find books that will reinforce our unit. We have some songs that are back here in the back just because they don't fit in the front. And then if you cannot find, we'll use these for some other things, but if you cannot find farm animal figures, here's what you can do. You can print out this page right here that has the different farm animals on it, and you could tape them to wooden blocks, you could tape them to empty food cartons, you could tape them to well, really anything, and the children can use those instead. So, you know, as a backup, if you don't have farm animal figures or you can't get a hold of some, you can always use these. And then there's a goodie back here for a game we're going to play related to apples. So this is our teaching unit, our teaching guide for the unit of the farm. I'm going to hit the back button. And then the story props are actually a picture story. There's 4 pages to this, or actually 6 pages to this. You're going to tape them together to make a really long story that you're going to put on the wall. And then as you read it, you'll point to each one of these letters. But when you get to the picture, the children are going to say that. So this is farmer, barn, silo, and there's a key on the last page so that you know what it is. But as you tell the story, the children are going to participate. And I forgot to mention this because sometimes people have issues with printing and saving. I am on a PC right now. So if I wanted to save this, I would simply download it here. I would suggest creating a folder that says like Gee Whiz Farm Unit or whatever you want to call it, and then put all these files in the same folder. That way you know where they are. If you wanted to print it, you would go right here to print. It's going to look a little differently if you're on a Mac, if you're on a different version. I'm on Windows 10. If you're on Windows 8 or something like that, it would maybe look a little different. But in general, that's how you would download and how you would save. And we encourage you to save it and back it up, not just on your computer, but maybe I use Google Drive or a flash drive or external hard drive. That way you always have a copy of your files. Here's the materials list I mentioned. Anything in red are things you're going to want a little extra time to gather. Some of these things hopefully you will have around the house. And again, as you read through here, you might want to take a look and see if there's anything you could ask parents or guardians or neighbors or friends if you could borrow. It goes on like that for the entire 10 days. And then we also have the school age, and we have things right here in yellow that you might want to ask parents or guardians to help with. We know that everybody's lives are going to be a little upside down right now. So you're going to have to do kind of what everybody else is doing and just audible. or as I tell my kids, roll with it. This is our letters and literacy book. These activities would actually be excellent for your school age children as well, particularly kindergarten and first. It's a lot of talking about letters, letter sounds, writing, punctuation, sentences. So what we've done is for each of the, or some of the experiences in the teaching guide, on each page, we've told you what letters you could focus on and how you could integrate this. These would be for children who are ready to talk about letters and letter sounds and more advanced concepts related to literacy. But again, you could also do this with some of your school age children if you have them with you all day right now. This is our customized individualized planning form. We know that for those of you working on the higher star levels, you have to document how you're individualizing your lesson plans. This is what this is for. It's also available in a Word document, so if you use Word, you can just type in the boxes, but it has each day all the experiences. Then you would put the children's names across the top, and then in this box, you would write how you're going to individualize for each individual child, and it covers the whole unit. And here it is in the Word document. The All About My Week report is designed to go home on Friday. You fill it out for each individual child and then send it home. I would encourage you to make a copy for their portfolio. It talks a lot about where they spent most of their time, what they enjoyed, what they're learning how to do, and what they're getting very good at. And this is a great way, if you keep a copy and a portfolio, to document their development over the course of time. Our family letter is digital as well, so you can just download and save this to your computer and then email it as an attachment to your families. It has an overview of the unit plus things for them to do during bath time, meal time, out and about, and bedtime. It also usually has some type of song. This is an action rhyme down here for them to do, and it is available in Spanish. So is the All About My Week report. The Individualization Web is designed for you to individualize each unit based on a child's interest and/or special needs. There's one of these for each of the units, and you would simply print it out and fill it out for each child. The make it sheets vary from unit to unit. For this one, the first one is I believe an iSpy. So this is great. The parents can play iSpy at home and they can challenge their children to find different things. For those children who are more advanced, they can even count like how many chicks there are, how many sheep there are, it's how many bales of hay there are in the tractor, etc. And the second one, it is Dominos. So it's farm animal Dominos. These sheets are designed to be used with children who you believe are ready. So this one actually for farm animal Dominos, you might want to print this out, mount it onto heavy paper or print it on a heavier cardstock and cut it apart, and then they can use it as a center material or manipulative. Okay, so that's the farm unit. I'm going to go back. And here are the Spanish files if you needed those for your families. And the second unit is called Growing Up. This is all about how we change and how animals change, like dogs and puppies into dogs, kittens into cats, bunnies into rabbits, etc. So again, you would click here for the English files. And then I'm not going to go into all these all the different things, but I do want to highlight a few things. In the second unit, we have a teaching tool instead of a story prop. And the teaching tool is actually puzzles where we have, you know, a little person as a child and then as an adult. And I think there's something wrong here because there should be 6 pages for this, but I'm only seeing 1. So let me go back out of here and see if this loads right. If it doesn't load right, we're going to have to repost it. But trust us, it will have 6 pages once it's, there we go. Must have been my computer. Cat, kitten, these would be mounted to heavy paper and cut apart, and the children can use them as puzzles. The other difference in the second unit is the puppet. For this puppet, because we're talking about growing up, we actually have a grandpa and a grandma, Nana and Papa, and we talk about how they've changed since when they were little. So there's directions in the teaching guide on how to use the puppet. So that's the difference. The second unit has the puppet and the teaching tool. The first one has the original story and props. And all the rest is the same. We have the digital family notes. We have the make it sheets. We have the individualization web. I would definitely take a look again at the materials list. One of the things you're going to need for this unit is to have parents or guardians send you either digitally or in print. Digitally is much easier. Pictures of their children when they were babies. And you're going to want to gather some pictures of yourself and your family when you were younger. That's going to be a big part of this unit. So those are things that you can start doing now. If you take a look at the materials list, that's a great place to start. So that's an overview of our April units that are now posted. I will also say if you are not a customer and you're just viewing this because you found, you were looking around, you found it, and you're interested in becoming a customer of GWiz, under our products, if you go to our special offer, we're running a special offer right now that you might want to take a look at. I would also highly encourage, like I said, for those of you who are customers or thinking about becoming customers too, if you have not gone under our support tab and viewed the Introduction to GWiz webinar, please do that. It gives you a wonderful overview of the curriculum, and if you're a customer, it's a great refresher on how to use all the components. We also just posted under our FCC Tools tab excuse me, under seasonal and holiday activities, we just posted a free booklet about spring that you can download here. That is available to everyone, whether you're a customer or not. It's our way of trying to help out because we know there are a lot of people out there that have little ones at home that are looking for things to do that are not just fun but educational. So that's it in a nutshell. If you have any questions, please email customerservice@gwizeducation.com. We will do our best to get back with you as soon as possible. Thank you so much for your time, and please, everyone, stay safe. Bye.